It's hot. That's a little warmer than I anticipated.
What was it now? A ginger mint?
Ginger. It really. Oh yeah.
Is it a candy or a mint?
It's a candy mint.
Oh, okay. Because I chew the candies. I get the one with peanut butter in it, so that kind of cuts
Oh,
down the heat, but it does what it needs to do when I
Uh-uh.
got a tummy ache or
I
something.
got a little. It's a little like this big, and it's ginger. It's pure
Oh yeah.
ginger, and it's. I just take a little bit of that at a time when because I can't put that whole thing in my mouth. No, man.
well, this is new to me, and I will be more cautious in the future.
Ah,
But
woo.
here we go.
Here we go.
We have a great guest on tonight. We got everything lined up. I'm kind of excited about her journey, her writing journey, and just glad we're going to be able to show that tonight and introduce her to our audience. We've got our week in review lined up. I'm going to go first tonight.
Yes, and we're giving updates on our book challenge.
Yes,
Okay.
we are. That's why I'm going to go first. Mine will be a little short.
Stop.
Mm-mm.
You know what? We just need to roll it.
Ruth is going to go next. Victoria, you'll be going next, and then you will be introducing our author
Okay.
to our audience tonight, and then we're gonna be doing what we do, and I'm excited about it, glad about it. You got new glasses, Victoria?
No, I'm just wearing them like I'm supposed to.
Oh, all righty then, Alan. It's about time for us to get started.
Stop acting like
Yeah,
I
I
can
would
see.
say on that note, it
Yes.
is time to go.
Yes, we're ready.
All right. Here we go, everybody. Have a great show.
Okay, thanks, Alan. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Authors Up right here. We are on ALH Broadcasting. We're an affiliate of the Streaming Inspirational Broadcast Network, and I am not here by myself. I never am on Sunday evenings.
Nope.
I have two of the greatest co-hosts in the world. And they are with us tonight. We're all here together. We got Victoria Henderson and Ruth Griffin. How are you ladies doing? How you doing, Victoria?
I am wonderful. Good to be here tonight. Good to see you guys again. Mwah, mwah, miss you.
Awesome. We're always glad to have you back. It's never the same when one of us is missing. So
And that's the truth.
whenever we're all together, it's a good thing. And Miss Ruth, how are you this evening?
I am doing well. I got a nap in today, so I'm actually much better than well. Doing great.
Was this the infamous Sunday church nap?
It was a long Sunday, so yes, we got a nap in.
Good deal.
You. And we've got Linda Cooks joining us this evening. Good evening to you, Linda. And good evening to you, Dr. Paula Obi. Glad to have you in the house as well. And if we have any folks joining us from other countries, we thank Alan for letting us know, and we'll be sure to give them a proper welcome as well.
And hello to our podcast folks.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Victoria, for reminding me there. And let's see. Let's go ahead and get started with our week in review. The three of us have a similar something to share. I don't even know how to put it. But before I get to that, I will say that I had a great weekend with my squeeze toys. You all know that I
Oh,
have twin god girls. And when they were babies, I used to call them my squeeze toys because they're just
Oh,
precious. And they are 9 years old now.
wow.
And
seriously?
yeah,
Wow.
Wow.
old and they're old enough to travel. And they have a cousin who was born a few months before them. So we had three 9-year-old young ladies on this girls trip. This past
Oh,
weekend, we gave them a little early Christmas, and their aunt and their yaya, they call it Grandma Yaya.
oh, how
So it
nice.
was 2 adults and three little girls, and we took them to Myrtle Beach and showed. We went through the light show there and took them to Santa's little Wonderland
Oh,
playhouse.
nice.
It was
Oh.
nice weather, so they got to go on the beach and pick up sand. What are they? Shells. Pick up some
Yeah,
shells,
Mhm.
yeah.
and they eat like football players, but they're still 9-year-old little girls. But they were
Nice.
so much fun. And just to Linda, their auntie does Bible study with them once a week. And you can just tell the difference that those seeds are making. And one of them was just, she just came up and said, I am just so thankful. I'm so thankful that you all,
Oh,
were able to take us on this trip. And I thought, oh,
Oh.
you get to go
oh,
again. But,
nice.
sometimes kids just aren't. They just don't think about it. It's just about more and getting more and having more and things like that. So it was really delightful. It really was a good weekend. Great weather and all of that. And it was the end of this week marked the end of the NaNoWriMo challenge. I did participate. We all did participate. I will say for myself, on some level, I missed one day, and I could have really sat down and said, okay, it doesn't matter how many words I write; it's that I write every day. But I did not have a thought. I just didn't have a thought, and I thought I'd rather miss the day than to just, you know, kind of throw things up in the air and let them fall where they may. So
Right.
after that, I did not miss. I think one day I missed my word count,
Mhm.
but I made my word count every day that I did write. And some days I went, a couple of hundred words over. So I was glad about that. And now I'm very happy to report that I'm doing just what they said for us to do. I am putting it aside somewhere, and I'll look at it again later.
Yep.
I'm done with that right now. But I did do it. I'm glad I did it. It was very different from my process with the first book, because I had a book, I had a story, I had it all in my head to do. And this time it was kind of writing every day, just letting the characters do whatever they decided to do, until I got to a point and said, oh, look, there's just too many people going back and forth. I got, I got to round this thing up and make it make sense. So, but it was a good challenge for me. I'm glad that I did it. And we'll see if I ever actually finish doing it and getting it through an editing process to a point where it's a publishable work. But thank you for the encouragement, Ruth and Victoria, and how we just managed to, for those 30 days, really just encourage each other and check on each other,
Mhm.
make sure that we did right and do all those good things. So thank you for that, ladies. And that's my weekend review. How about you, Ruth? What was going on with you?
Honestly, I've been thinking about this for the last couple of days. Like, okay, what's my weekend review? What's my weekend review? And it's been like a blur for the last couple of months, actually, because we've had, stuff going on at the church. We've had work, and everything is starting to pick up, but we know that it's going to a point where my brain is already on Christmas vacation. So, um, yeah, so we had the food drive at church. Now we're doing the toy drive, and we're gonna be wrapping this week, and we're gonna be delivering, and then in between that, we're gonna go to Samantha's graduation in Arizona. Um, so we've had a lot going on. I've had, just keeping busy. So,
Yeah.
to talk about the writing challenge. I think I shared this before. So I did. I wrote my book was completed in 10 days. I hit what I kind of figured would be my word count. So there's no point writing more if you know you're done.
Yeah.
That's just it. So I am probably here within about a week or so. I'm probably going to start looking at it again because I just had this opportunity. And like I've shared before, what I did, I'm writing the book version of one of the shows that we did, The Writer Within. Um, and I had the opportunity, not yesterday, was it yesterday? Yes, yesterday, to talk to someone who does community activism, and they were talking about stuff they were sharing for the kids in their community, and it was just like a light bulb went off in my brain, and I'll just say thank you, Holy Spirit. um, Adapt it for kids.
Wow.
So I'm gonna look to see, once I get the adult version written, I'm gonna look to see how we can do that for kids, because I just remember being that young and going, okay, am I old enough to write? Am I
Right.
old enough to write adult conversations? Am I old? Can I do this? And I'm like, now I would say, well, yeah, of course. But back then it was,
You didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
And there was nothing for you to encourage you. So yes.
Right, right. So, yeah. So I'll be working on that. So I finished up the challenge a little bit early. I've been doing this
Yeah.
serialization,
Mhm.
and that has just been awesome on a learning process. I've already making a list of stuff that will change next time I do this, because it
Wow.
is I thought, okay, just let me get the first draft and then I can start posting. I can spend a couple days at it. No, it's literally post and then start editing the next one, because you make a minor tweak to the story and all of a sudden now you have to start rewriting the
Everything
chapters.
changes. Oh,
Right.
So, but it has been an awesome learning, it's just opportunity, because it's taught me more about editing, about even working with audiences and what to look for and how to build that. So what I learned, I can now share, and I'm looking forward to that. So
awesome.
Great.
mhm.
That is
So that was
awesome.
my week. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how about you, Victoria?
All right. The writing challenge for me was truly a challenge. And it crossed two states. I mean, more than once. Yeah, two states. I'm in Indiana now, visiting my mom, and she's still in rehab, and so um, it was truly a challenge. But there were some days that I didn't want to write, and
Mm-hmm.
I still did like 100 and something words. I just had to write. It just didn't matter what. I just had to write, and so the characters have taken hold, and it's a story that I didn't even think I had in me to write, so I'm grateful to that I did write every day. I did not meet my word count every day, but I
Mm-hmm.
wrote something every day, and it is more finished than not finished. So
There you go.
I was glad for that, and I too was glad to take my eyes off of it for a minute. Whew. I'm looking forward now to sharing it with you guys and see
Mm-hmm.
what you think and getting your feedback and what you think I could change and how to make it a better story. I'm looking forward to that process because I do want to publish this book. I really do.
Okay.
So and what interesting part about this book that I'll let you guys in on, all the characters are named after somebody I know. Now the characters are not about the person, but I just named all my characters uh, uh, for someone who had passed. Some had passed, some are not. Some are still my friends, but all the names are for people. Somebody I know has that name,
Mm-hmm.
and so I put a lot. I put some of me into the book too. There are a couple of stories of actual things that happened to me, but you won't know. You won't know that unless you know me. So I
Yeah.
just
Can you share the title?
love always finds a way.
Okay, love always
It,
fine.
it is a romantic novel. It is. It is.
Mhm.
It is.
Cool. All
I'm a sucker for romance.
right.
Yes,
Awesome,
yes. Love always finds a way. So
awesome.
that's it. That's it for now. And so I think we have kept our author waiting long enough because she is delightful, y'all. So let me give you our biography of our author. Her name is Kelly Anne Manuel, and she is a children's book author who released an astonishing 31 books, one for each day of the month, to give kids an array of positive messages. An eternal optimist who has been called the good kind of contagious, Kelly has a unique voice that children respond to because of her own actively vibrant inner child. Her books are available in 4 series: the Essential series, the Rainbow's End series, the Classics, and My Name is series. In addition to being a self described uncommon author, since she didn't set out to write children's books, but happily took the path that life intended for her, she is also a mother and an artist. Kelly Ann grew up in New York's Long Island and earned a BA degree in telecommunications with a major in marketing and a minor in Spanish from Indiana University. Oh, I got to talk to her about Indiana. Today, she resides in Fort Mill, South Carolina, with her beloved pup, Teddy Roosevelt. So, after a short break, we will be back with Kelly Ann Manuel to talk about her books. Be right back.
There you are.
Hello.
Welcome, Kelly Ann.
You guys are hilarious. I mean, I'm
Thank
just
you.
gonna say same time next week, please. Okay.
All right.
Come on back.
Well, thank you. We like what we do. So,
Right.
and we thank you so much for joining us. Just the few minutes that we have had you on and just chatting with you, it has just been a joy, and we are excited to share you with our audience. So, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So, I wanted to start off with tell us about your book, but you have 31 books, and we are going to feature one tonight. It is, My Name is Light. But yeah, I feel like we need to just start big and then just kind of focus small. So, tell us about your books. Let's start there.
Well, I kind of have an exciting journey.
Hmm.
I only started writing in March of 2022.
Oh,
Get out of
Mar-
here.
March 2022.
Wow.
I did a lot of work on myself, and I found myself with my dog living alone, and I started to hear poetry.
mhm.
And I knew I was meant to convert the poetry into nursery rhymes for children.
Oh, wow.
I knew it. And so I started the first poem and wrote the first poem at the end of March. Well, by the second week, 14 days into April, I had 27 books ready. Now, I hadn't done the synopsises yet, but I had 27 books with all the manuscript and the art already selected in 14 days. And I'd say I had the entire 31 within the next week. Now, I wrote more than that, but I did have to prioritize because I was doing hybrid self-publishing and I was having to invest money. So I said, I'll stop at 31 because there's 31 days in the month.
Uh-huh.
And then that's one day a month for a child.
Mhm.
So I had to cap it at 31 for now. Yes, sadly, but there's more. There's more in the wings, So
Wow.
yeah, I've got more. But 31 is good so far. I'm pretty happy with that. And
So far, she says.
Yeah, that's it.
And
It's-
I struggle with one book over a month.
Writing one book per month.
well, these are nursery rhymes, and they're about 21 pages, so
Mhm.
they're I grew up with Hans Christian Andersen.
Oh, yeah.
A
Yes.
lot of his work. And I like to kind of talk about Hans and what I do kind of in a similar vein. Inchworm, Thumbelina, they were catchy, Ugly Duckling.
Yes.
Mhm.
And there were always layers of meaning in what Hans did. But
Mhm.
yet they were entertaining
Right.
100%. I want to entertain. I want children to love to read. Then you throw in rhyming. For childhood literacy, rhyming is gigantic. You can never start teaching a child rhyming early enough. You play rhyming games in the car, and it helps with literacy development and what happens in early childhood development. So you take the rhyming, you take the art, you take the words, and you end up with 31 books for children that is a layer of support for
Mhm.
them.
Mm-hmm.
And they vary from playing with blocks to grief and loss and endings. So with 31 books, I was able to cover a lot of experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is incredible. I was going to ask you the meaning behind the meaning and the messages, but I think you have covered a lot just in the last few minutes. So we are going to talk about your book tonight. My Name is Light. So tell us a little bit about that one.
Okay, so the My Name Is series, there are 4 books in that series, and they all start with what is your name? The child is asking the narrator what their name is. So
Okay.
the My Name Is series is all about healthy observation, discourse,
Great.
modeling a social interaction where the child has permission to state what they observe.
Mhm.
The narrator has an opportunity to state what they feel about the discussion. So it's a simple back and forth. It's a modeling of healthy discourse where observations, curiosity, opinion can be offered in a healthy way. And then by the end of the story, there's resolve or resolution. And whether it's to agree or not to agree isn't the point.
Right.
It's that they get there. And there's always, a little play on something. So with My Name is Light, this is about every child knowing that they have a light in them. Every child has a light in them. And this is recognizing that. And this book says, I see a lovely light in you, and I am never wrong. And the child says, would it surprise you if I say that I have always felt that way? So this is about knowing the light is there, even if somebody hasn't looked you in the eye and said, hey, I see the light in you.
Yeah.
This is about knowing you have the light.
Mm-hmm.
And that when light joins light, what do we get? More light.
Right.
And that's the whole premise of My Name is Light.
Mm-hmm.
It's also about identity. The My Name Is series says, you're allowed to sort out who you are.
Mhm.
And you're allowed to state it.
Yeah.
And you're allowed to discuss and say, hey, I think I'm this. And someone else is happy to say, well, I observed this. And maybe the two don't match. And that's an awakening point, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
My book, My Name is Mountain, that's the first book I wrote, by the way. That was about me thinking I was a mountain, but I ended up looking like a hole.
Mhm.
Mm.
Because mountain gives itself away one pebble at a time. Because
Oh,
it's such a good mountain,
Oh, wow.
everybody wants a pebble to take home to their home to
wow.
exhibit. But by giving each pebble away, the mountain didn't have any pebbles left, and the child is saying, "You may call yourself a mountain, but you look like a hole."
Wow.
So and of course that's about our nature as well, right? That we just
Right.
don't take and take and take from good Mother Nature, you know. So my books are layered. They are
Right.
layered, and the child will learn something and glean something different, reading it at different ages, at different times. I'm certain of it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, and this is something, we were talking about earlier, is that, there are, for the readers, there are times in our lives when books may be the only solace that we can find, and if a good book, when we reread it, when when it becomes our friend, will give us back more than what we initially got out of it, you know. So I'm excited for your books. Now I have to go find the other 30, the other 30. So I mentioned the illustrations because we they're different and they are beautiful. And you said you had a story.
I sure do. I have
Okay.
lots of them, but I'll tell you this particular one.
Okay.
So I start writing poetry. I don't even have a computer. I have a refurbished laptop that's on the fritz. I have a 2017 iPad. I start doing the poetry, right? And my TV went out, and for the life of me, could not get a TV delivered 10 times. Well, it finally occurred to me that I needed a computer, not a television. So because I'm realizing I'm writing a lot of books. I need a computer because I don't have any software. I don't have any training in writing, publishing, manuscripts, Acrobat, nothing. I wasn't writing anything even. So I get the computer and I find I found Canva. Canva is a free app, and you can do a storybook on Canva. I tell people all the time, they're like, "Oh, I have a book in me." I'm like, "Well, if it's a children's book, just download the Canva app and do your own picture book there, and with words too." Well, then how am I going to illustrate everything I'm writing about? I find a subscription platform called iStock. It has millions of illustrations on it. Do you know that I found the illustrations to match my words in those
Really?
14 days for 27 books, 21 pages long with a cover?
Really?
Get out of the city.
It's almost as if it was meant to be, right?
Right. I am familiar with iStock, but I had no idea
I had no idea
that you
either.
can use it that way.
You
That's
can.
amazing.
Yeah, you just got to read the licensing on
Yep,
that.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
it's the kind of thing where I'd have to sell where I will sell a certain amount, and then I'll have to do another step up when I
Yeah.
get. But we're talking a lot of books,
Yes,
and you
it's
have a lot
several.
of permission digitally.
Yeah.
So for me, it was a no-brainer. How else would I even be able to do what I did? But finding that, training myself on it, training myself on Canva, training myself on a computer. I haven't worked on a computer since the 90s, when they were big and bulky.
Yeah.
So
Not what we have today.
I had to train myself, but it all happened so fast. There was no time to waste, right? Because the whole feeling I got about this is that they were meant to be in the hands of children as fast as I could create them. It was urgent. I felt an urgency,
Right.
purpose, mission to get these done and to get them out. And I certainly did that because I wrote them in April. By July, I worked with Balboa Press. I did hybrid publishing, Hay House. By July, I signed contracts to publish the next 30 because I had already done My Name is Mountain. I submitted all publication materials, including synopsises, which I do several paragraphs of synopsises so that a caregiver can know what the book does and what to discuss about the book. Okay. I turned all that in 3 weeks of July.
Wow.
so that everything could be published in August and September.
How long did you work each day? How many hours a day did you work? Did you sleep? Did you eat? Go to the bathroom?
No, poor me. It was so good. No. Here's what I say. Okay, so writing the books, the poems came as easy as breathing.
Wow.
Okay. Now, and the art, like I said, I was in flow. It was organic and it happened so beautifully. And I would like to say something about the artists who put their work on. I want to thank them because without them, I wouldn't be speaking to you lovely ladies tonight. And my prayer is that they somehow get blessed by their art being in my books. That's my prayer. That they somehow are discovered and rewarded for taking a chance and putting their art on that platform for me to find. Right. So I do like to offer gratitude. I don't know these people, God bless them, but I'm so grateful to them and their talents. Right. So now what was hard, I will tell you, writing the synopsises I know what the books can do. I know what they mean. How do I tell a shopper? How do I tell an auntie? How do I tell a mother, a father, a caregiver, a librarian, a teacher, what they are and what they can do? That's hard work.
Wow.
But I did it in 3 weeks for 30 books.
That's what I call divine downloads.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay. And I think you've touched on it a little bit, but I wanted to ask, because I saw the dedications to some of your books. What part does faith play in all of this for you?
Gigantic. That's when I talk about knowing that they were meant to be written and in the hands of children. It's all my faith. You know, the snow last is for Mary Magdalene. You know, the world's small. This is about connectedness. This is for I refer to the Blessed Mother Mary as the Blessed Mother, and the world's small is for her. Now, many of my books are for saints. And then I also, you know, have a book like The Inclusive All. And this is dedicated to the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr.
Wow.
So sometimes it's somebody who did something incredible on the planet. Maybe it's a saint, but maybe it's also a master, a divine master that spent some time here with us and maybe wants something else to be told.
Wow.
Maybe, and that's when you know, I've got one for Coretta as well. Coretta's is the skate free.
Oh, wow.
And that's about taking something with wheels outside the door. That's to motivate children to play outside.
Right.
Anything with wheels, take it out of the door. That's Coretta's. So I feel a sort of connection to some of these folks when I'm writing. And it's almost like a magical moment that I have where I feel connected. I can't explain it entirely, but I can tell you it's beautiful.
It is. It really is. Andrea, what you got?
I'm just smiling because I can say that I experience what Kelly's talking about, and I don't know whether it is particular with poetry. I don't think it is just poetry. I think it is for writers, period, that you get into that 4-letter word of flow, and the words just come. I experience that at least 3 days a week, if not 5, for the program that I have, where he gives me what I call a victory verse. And it is poetic, and it is in rhythm and rhyme, and it's rarely edited, it's rarely changed, and it is because of that thing called flow. You know, you when you yield to it, and you know that you are in that moment of it. And Ruth, I think you would have to experience that in writing, in the stories that you write, the book you write, um, because you are able to create a phenomenal number of words that make sense,
Exactly.
challenges and things, and it is because of that. It is because you can hit that flow,
Yeah.
and it seems like everything that you need, to put down on paper, and every thought that you want to convey comes easy, and you said it such with such grace and such poise as you were describing your books, and the three of us are sitting here going, oh, because we never thought of it that way. We never would have looked at it that way. But it is that unique thing that I believe God gives us, and the faith that we have to step out on that. That you found the art when you needed to find the art. You found the story when you needed to find the story. You had the synopsis when you needed to have the synopsis. And it wasn't about setting out to say, aha, today I will write 31 books. It's not that at all. It's not that you set out to do that. It is because you get into that divine download, as Victoria says, that divine flow. And when you are there, it just comes. And it is difficult to explain that to people sometimes.
Right.
That you got up and it was just there. It was just there. I was in a meeting and I got 2 lines of a poem and I thought, what is this? I don't know what this is. And I could not finish it.
Oh my goodness.
Finally sat down and said, okay, God, you started it, you finish it. And I wrote the rest of the piece. And I thought, okay, this isn't for me. It's not mine. It is that divine intervention that when you say, I want to be available and I want to do something special, something particular, and finish it, he does that for us and he does it through us. And it is a wonderful thing when I'm just sitting here enjoying your mantle, although I can't see all of the books and all of the covers,
Yes,
but just to
beautiful.
know that you were able to do that with his help because you yielded to that flow.
Amen.
And I think that is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Amen.
My
And
my thought is, I believe he wants the children to have this layer of support in these books and
Mhm.
something in literature that they can touch. So say they're not being raised with a faith or
Mhm.
religion. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm blessed to have that.
Mhm.
I am really blessed to have that. Oh, so I'm very fortunate. So when I fall on hard times and say, humans maybe around me for some reason can't give me the support I feel I need, I know where to turn.
Right.
If you don't have that level of support of your faith, they have to have literature. They
Mhm.
must have literature, and hopefully they have both. Don't get me wrong.
oh, yeah.
I hopefully they have both. But even with faith, it does help to have literature that says, look to the sky sometimes,
Mhm.
look
Yeah.
to the stars, look
Right.
to the blanket that we all tuck in under every night in the world small, and
Mhm.
feel that connectedness to nature, to the
Mhm.
Mhm.
heavens, to the stars. And that's what I do. I offer that view to them, even if they're not in a structured faith. And even if they are, it's another layer of support.
Another
Mhm.
support. And I think that is so needed. And just the way that you do it. And they said in your bio and some of the information that we read about you talked about the unique way that you have of connecting with children. And that's not by accident. I know that I cannot connect with children that way. That's just not
Right.
the way that my writing goes. But because it is that way for you, the flow of it is just it's just easy. It comes easy to you.
Yeah.
It comes easy to you. And I think that is brilliant that you have yielded to that in the way
Yes.
that you have. so that the children will have that support. And I
Yes.
think that's great. I think that's great. There is there within that connection, there's an interesting way that you do your titles that I'd like for you to talk about. And I'd also, after that, like for you to read some of the book that you had up earlier.
Oh, the
Uh,
snow last.
Yes,
yes,
the
yes,
snow last.
yes.
Okay.
The
Okay,
snow.
so instead of last snow, it's snow last. Okay. Instead of all inclusive, it's the inclusive all. I flip titles. Instead of a small world, it's the world small. I flip things. Instead of good morning, it's the morning good. I feel children need to see things in a different way than has been presented uh, through I don't even know how long, right? So what I'm trying to do is create a different view of common phrases and introduce a story to match it that
Mhm.
they can take in through the rhyming into their system, and then when they need it because it's rhyming, they'll have it to recall, and it'll be an automatic recall, right? So another example is I wrote a book called The Lost Total. So I had a fire during a hurricane, and the type of fire for the house was a total loss.
Mm-hmm.
That's when there's nothing to be
Can't salvage anything. Mm-hmm.
that book, the instead of total loss is the loss total. And
Mhm.
that's about whenever, many a dream disappears in an instant and the pain sticks around and was always consistent or persistent, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
but then I tell them that a recovery is in progress and the lost total retreated when I spoke to the sky in a voice intoned with a sigh and a cry. And then the sky shines her light and assures me everything will be all right.
Mhm.
And
Beautiful.
a loss total for one child might be losing a ball game. For
Yeah.
another child, it might be the death of a grandparent. For
Right.
another child, it might be a divorce or moving to a new school. They could feel a loss. So the books can meet the child wherever they are on the journey. If it's the ball game, I'm there for them. If it's a death, I'm there for them.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to have that layer, and I want them to know they can look to the sky.
Mhm. Awesome.
Yeah. So, do
Uh,
you guys want to hear the snow last?
Yes,
yes.
please.
I'll try to show you it. It might be hard. Okay. Uh, the snow last. And I said earlier, this is dedicated to Mary Magdalene. Okay. Can you? Oh, it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah,
We're good.
that's
There
all
we go.
right. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. The other day, I went to visit a friend who lives at the tail of a rainbow's end. This is a tale that may feel a bit cold. Nevertheless, it is a tale to be told. In this particular town, there was an event that caused many a frown. There was a snow last, and just as it sounds, it is when something ends and silence resounds. Now, please take heart here, my reader dear. It turns out there is nothing to fear. The town felt lucky to have fond memories of this polar blast. I saw this in every crevasse vast. I would recommend a proper pause at this time. It is so very helpful and an ease on the mind. Even though this town had a snow last, it was also the beginning of another season past.
Oh, wow.
That's nice.
Nice. Nice. Nice. Very nice.
Snaps.
Well, Victoria, while you're snapping, we're going to turn it over to you.
I have nothing to say but get the books. Get the books.
Books, yes.
Yes,
Get the books.
yes, absolutely.
Where can our listeners and our viewers find your work, and how can they get in touch with you?
Well, the best place is Balboa Press Hay House, to the bookstore there. But honest to goodness, you can Google me and you can really choose your way to find me any way you like. Now, the audiobooks, all 31 audiobooks. I know, and you can buy the whole collection for like under I think about $18, all 31.
Oh, that's really good.
Wow.
Yeah, but I want people to have them,
Yeah.
you know.
Right,
And
right.
so, but to get that, you have to go to Pro Audio Voices,
Mhm.
their audiobooks, okay, which is Pro Audio Voices. You can get the bundle, the 31, for I think it's $18, okay. And I'm doing a promotion right now. If you go to Pro Amplify, Pro Audio Voices, you can put in Winter Wonder and get 25% off, even off of that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this month in January, because this is such a great time for books and especially audio when you're traveling. And, you know, my hope is hear the audio and then discuss the book.
Right.
You said
the book.
Pro Audio?
Pro Audio Voices, audiobooks. Yeah. And they have an app now called Amplify. And if you put in Winter Wonder, all caps, you'll get 25% off this month and the entire month of January as well.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, when did they release? When did you release them?
They were all published in August and September of 2022.
True. Okay. How have they been received?
Oh, I mean, so far so good. You know, I'm really working on getting my books out there. You know, I hired a PR company because I didn't know what to do. I mean, so I talked about it like Field of Dreams.
Right.
Are you guys familiar with Field of Dreams?
Mm-hmm.
Where he was getting basically messages, right?
Right.
And each step, he wouldn't even be quite sure, but he would take the leap of faith.
Yeah.
That's what I do. So when I did this, I don't know how to get my name out there. I mean, I just wrote 31 books, but nobody knows me.
Right.
So I had to hire PR. Luckily found you ladies that way. So I kind of just kept getting the hits. And then I'm like, oh, I need audiobooks. Oh, I need video books. So they're also on Vimeo and you can buy them. Okay. And they show the art and then they show the words on the pages. So it's actually helpful for a child to learn. It's a way to use a screen without upsetting anybody. And it's also, if you're distant from a child that you want to be close to, you can share the video and have a connectedness, even if you're far away geographically.
That's nice. Yes, that's nice.
Wonderful.
Well, thank you so much for being with us. And oh my goodness, this has been a joy tonight. We wish you nothing but success. Get the books. Get the books.
Like I said, same time next week, ladies.
Well, Kelly, you have enjoyed us. We have enjoyed you, for sure. And just wish you much success on not just this series, but the next that you have coming up, because I don't think that it's going to stop here. I think there's more, and you enjoy what you do. It is evident that you enjoy what you do and that you care about little people and getting them something that they desperately need. And it is, I don't know. I don't have enough words to even describe this. This is one of our special times with an author, just to hear how this journey has come about for you. Mm-hmm. And all of the possibilities that there will be for you in the future, because of your passion, because of your desire to do something for a next generation. So we thank you for doing this tonight. Is there any final word that you would like to leave with our listeners or viewers?
You know, here's what I say. You know, you ladies were talking so great about writing. Okay. So I have a tip. It's write away, right away. So it's WRITE right away, RAGHT. And I
Mhm.
say that because do not discard the seed. I say a sequoia didn't know how big it would be when it was a tiny seed. Don't discard the seed. Take it, make note of it, water it from time to time, and then watch it grow into a sequoia.
Wow. Thank
That's wonderful.
you.
Don't discard the seed.
Yes, it.
That means I've got to finish that book I just wrote in this 21 days.
Yep.
I think so.
No,
Don't
you too, Victoria.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, I take those two
great
books.
advice. Great advice. I tell you that. Well, do either of you ladies have anything as a final comment for our show this evening? Victoria, Ruth,
I'm done. I'm
Dan?
Kelly, thank you again for joining us on the show. We really have enjoyed having you on. We've enjoyed you. So
yes.
I also want to share with our listeners, thank you for listening to us, whether it's through Facebook Live, SIBN podcast, or YouTube. Go ahead and follow us on social media. You can find us on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. Just search for Authors Up Show. Our replay is available on Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. on SIBN and Facebook Live. But if you want to go ahead and take us with you, you can download the podcast every Wednesday after the show, or you can find us on YouTube. And if you have any questions, if you would like to be on the show, send us an email at authorsup@gmail.com.
That's it.
There you go. That rounds it all out. I thank everyone I should say, we thank everyone for joining us this evening.
Yes.
And the replay is on Saturday at
Yes.
7, because on Sunday night, prayerfully, you're going to be right back here. We will be here on Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. with different authors and different books and different writing tips, and always something that we pray will encourage you, will inspire you, and will help you along your writing journey. So we invite you now to come back and join us next Sunday night at 7 p.m. We will be right here on ALH Broadcasting. I don't know whether we have a guest. I don't know whether we have a book. I don't know what we're going to do. One thing for sure, we're going to have a good time. And the second thing
Yep.
we know for sure, you never know what's going to happen up. Thank you so much for joining, everybody. Have a great week, and hopefully we'll see you right back here next
Good
Sunday.
night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. Thank you again, Kelly. We loved it.
Yes.